Are you waiting on eggshells like the rest of us for this to just be announced?
Well, listen, that's up to Bravo to announce when they won, and I feel like that it's imminent and that legacy is going to happen. And I'm looking forward to working with the OGs. And I don't know why they didn't call Bethenny.
Would you still do the show if if it's revealed that she is coming back?
Well, listen, what I do, well, I'm not, I'm not going to lose out on anything because of Bethenny, but I don't think they're interested in having her back, obviously, because she's not a part of the casting call
Yes and
that
yes.
I know of.
What do you think about the rumors that, Tinsley is possibly, because we have 5 housewives that the names keep coming up. We all know 5 is kind of the kiss of death in housewives. It never really works. We want 6 or 7. There's all
Yeah.
these rumors now that Tinsley wasn't interested. Now she's back in the mix. She's playing hard to get. She wants a payday. What do you think about all of this?
Well, listen, I don't know if Tinsley would come back. I don't know if they will bring her back. I don't know if she even lives in New York City, which I don't think she does. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to be a housewife of New York if you don't live in New York. But, maybe she has plans to move to New York. I mean, I don't know. But, I think Tinsley would be a great addition.
Anyone else you think would be great? If Tinsley was in, we were going to add another name or two.
Well, I always talk about Aviva. I think Aviva was great. And really there is not a huge assortment of OGs to choose from, right? That haven't dissed the franchise. Okay. We know one in particular, all she does is diss the franchise. And there's a couple that diss the franchise. So, we don't want a bunch of sourpusses on the housewives, that's for sure. We want fun, dynamic, fabulous women, not ones that go around poo-pooing the housewives of New York.
Yes, when you start to get into it and you start to eliminate people that don't poo-poo the franchise, I imagine you're also talking about Carol, who seems to poo-poo the franchise.
I don't know.
We're not left with many names that are true OG status, right?
It's true. It's true.
Do you know when you're expected to hear? I mean, everyone is just on pins and needles.
It'll be very soon.
What about OG? I mean, I know she's not interested, but what about if they asked Alex McCord, which I don't think will ever happen? I mean, you're headed over to Australia with the tour, hopefully in 2023. Do you think Alex would be a good addition to come back?
Listen, I think if Alex were back in New York, I mean, who wouldn't love a little Alex and Simon after all this time? I mean, I think it would be hysterical.
I think that would be a great fit as well. What about, also at BravoCon, they announced the reboot, the cast, like, Giselle Tank and Uba and, Bryn Whitfield and all these people, Jenna Lyons. Like, do you know any of these women that are
I know
announced?
not one of them, not one person of this new cast I know. So, listen, I wish them the best because they're going to need a lot of luck, next to our franchise, which will film, hopefully soon.
Have any reached out to you for advice? I mean, you are an OG.
No, I don't know any of them. So I think it'd be a little bizarre to get a phone call from somebody I don't know, but I know that Jill has seen some of them.
I saw that. I think Jill has seen Uba and Ramona ran into, I think, the same Uba one night, but I know Jill has. What
Right.
advice would you give them if they did, or if you ran into them or they did call you? Like, what advice would you give?
Well, I mean, the advice I give to anyone that would start on the Housewives is just really to be yourself. And if you don't feel comfortable, then don't do it or don't say it. And just to be the best version of yourself, really, because the camera doesn't lie, so it's very hard to be somebody you're not. And it generally doesn't work for people that do that. So I would just say just to be yourself and enjoy the process.
Do you feel like it's been a year since, season 13 wrapped? It's been almost 2 years since like you actually filmed it. Now that the reboot is like actually filming and they're out in New York, like, do you feel like you're missing out? Like, do you miss it? Do you feel like this thing is going on, even though we have Legacy coming up?
No, I don't feel like I'm missing out at all because, again, their New York is not my New York. And so I think it's a very different franchise compared to what we will bring to the show because we've been at it for a long time. And I just feel like new people just, it will be tough to start new. I wish them luck, I do.
What about that? Because I mean, a lot of people agree with you online. Like they say, we don't want to start new. We're not watching. We want Sonja. We want Luann de Lesseps. Where is the Countess? Where is Jill Zarin and all her rugs and her mats? We want the old school, and we're not watching. So, what do you say about that? That all these people are rallying and saying they're just not going to watch.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like that you have to give people a chance. I feel like they're new, give them a chance and let's see how they do. I think again, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because of the original cast and having that pending. But I think people will be curious enough to watch and I wish them the best. I hope they do well with it. And listen, if they do well, we do well. So I just feel like may the best man win.
And to that point, it isn't your New York. It's a different New York that you're used to. Are you going to be watching?
Am I going to be watching? Hell yeah. I'm curious.
I'm definitely curious. What about, there was so much that was out there. We don't need to rehash it about, season 13 and the end of RHONY, Ramona and Ebony. And now here we are. The new season hasn't even started. The reboot, we're still filming, and all this comes out about Lizzy Savetsky. And like, we have the word anti-Semitism being thrown around. It's being thrown around that she used the N-word, like it's a she said, she said.
Yeah.
What do you think about all this without this even now being finished wrapping?
I think it sounds like there's a lot of drama and, I just hope that they can, you know, overcome it and get around it and have a show that people will want to watch. I think that there's so much going on in the world and, so much of, unrest and drama that people just want to have, a good time. So I feel like the drama should not be a negative drama. It needs to be like a more positive drama. If you understand what I mean, our drama is usually like, you know, uh, you know, Ramona didn't invite me, or she said that about my. Anyway, it just seems like it's the kind of drama that most people understand and live with in their own lives. And I feel like the minute it gets too crazy, too far fetched, that it's not relatable.